An elderly couple attacked and beaten inside their home. A police officer shot and killed in his garage. Terrifying home invasions have people taking action before violence lands on their doorstep. What they're doing.
2/3 of Southern Nevada homeowners are underwater on their mortgages. So many desperate for help. A major push is underway to educate us all before we fall prey to fraud.
And avoiding the headaches and getting there safely to your family's Thanksgiving location. The instant online help that will help you navigate the chaos that is holiday travel.
Now, Nevada's first choice for news. This is Channel 8 News Now at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Police are on alert. A police officer killed in his own garage, and a string of violent home invasions has them scared.
Scared, but not really ready to give up. Homeowners are calling their neighbors and banding together against crime. Amanda Hernandez joins us live now from North Las Vegas with a closer look at how one neighborhood is fighting back. Amanda.
Well, Gary, this sign here behind me is just one way that this community is keeping criminals from targeting them. They say by participating in a neighborhood watch, they're able to watch over each other and themselves. In this community, even toddlers know their neighbors, and striking up a conversation in the street is part of the everyday.
Typically, you see in the valley, people just come home and they don't talk to anybody. And here we are doing that.
Joe Cavender started a neighborhood watch in his community over a year ago.
We've had a couple of break-ins, and of course they were caught right away.
Communication and being aware are two things neighbors say keep them safe. They say when you know your neighbors, you know when something's out of place.
Well, everybody should do that. If everybody just keeps their eyes open and watches their own streets by their house, it'd be harder for people to commit these crimes. That's the first thing everyone should do. Every neighborhood should have it.
North Las Vegas police say they have more than 500 block captains in neighborhoods across the city.
Neighborhood Watch is a crucial program to any neighborhood that cares about their community, about the safety of the people that live there, about protecting their investments and their property and their families.
For a community of about 100 homes, watching out for crime is helping to keep it away.
Just be aware of what's happening around you. Be concerned. Talk to your neighbor. You know, be friendly. Have parties. This type of thing. And it works. I mean, you know, it's so simple.
If you would like to start a neighborhood watch program in your community, all you have to do is call your local police department, and a crime prevention officer can help you start one. Reporting live, Amanda Hernandez, 8 News Now.
Thank you, Amanda. A judge granted bail to one of the teens charged in the murder of Metro Police Officer Trevor Nettleton. 18-year-old Emmett Ferguson is now being held on $500,000 bail. Police say he admitted to hiding the gun that was used to kill Officer Nettleton after his stepbrother Saul Williams called him from the jail. 4 others, including Williams, along with Prentice Marshall, Adrian Pena, and Quadre Scott, are all charged with murder and robbery. A police report reveals the group was driving to Saul Williams' home when they saw Nettleton's garage door open and decided to rob the man inside.
It really is believed at this point that this group full of young adults was just driving through the city trying to find their perfect victim.
Authorities say 18-year-old Prentice Marshall finally admitted to shooting Nettleton, and the coroner released the officer's official cause of death, a gunshot wound to the torso. Police found the weapon hidden in the attic of Williams' home. The men will be in court again next week. Metro will be honoring both Officer Nettleton and Officer Dan Leach, who was killed in a crash this past weekend. Tonight, the public can pay their respects to Officer Nettleton. There's a visitation at Palm Mortuary on 215 and North Jones. His funeral is tomorrow at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic Church at 11 a.m. You can watch it live on our sister station, Las Vegas 1, Cox Cable 19. Officer Leach's funeral will be this Saturday, starting at 10 in the morning in the Shrine of the Most Holy Redeemer on East Reno. Burial will follow at the city cemetery in Boulder City.
The housing crisis has hit Las Vegas harder than anywhere in the nation, with more than 60% of homeowners here underwater, owing more than their homes are worth. With so many people hurting, the State Attorney General's office estimates 31,000 desperate Las Vegas homeowners have already become victims of scammers looking to make a fast buck. Edward Lawrence looks at the push to protect residents.
Home after home after home put on notice by the banks and families.
Obviously, we're having some problems with that story. We will try to have it for you in just a couple of minutes. Other news, Lieutenant Governor Brian Krolicki will learn next week if the felony charges against him will be dropped or if his trial will move forward. Krolicki and an aide are charged with misusing millions of dollars from the college savings plan. State investigators say Krolicki used the money for marketing in nearly untouchable accounts with no oversight from the legislature. Today, his attorneys pushed for the case to either move forward or be dismissed. Since it's been more than a year since the indictment, the judge is expected to issue a ruling next week.
Thanksgiving travel will really kick into high gear tomorrow, and now you have some high-tech help to get you through holiday headaches at McCarran. Travelocity has stationed a blogger at our airport whose sole responsibility will be to send out up-to-the-minute reports on lines, flight delays, and parking information. For the 600,000 travelers expected at McCarran this holiday, it may be the help that makes their holiday easier.
It's very hectic because it's time-consuming to get the stroller through, swab, tested, take them out of car seats, put them through the line, carry one, take off shoes, metal, juggle. It's a lot. It's a juggling.
To get the updates, go to LasVegasNow.com and enter keyword travel. People are scouring the internet for the best deals on the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and many are learning they won't even have to wait till Friday. Stores and shopping malls are trying to get out as much of holiday shoppers as they can, and there are several that will be open extremely early Friday and others that will even be open on Thanksgiving. We have a complete list of holiday shopping hours on LasVegasNow.com, keyword shopping.
It's a scary world out there with layoffs and problems, and it's not just adults who are concerned.
It's really scary to look at the world today and think, wow, these are the problems that my generation is going to have to solve.
Insightful views as teens talk about their futures and their fears in this economy. And animal advocates are heading to court to try to stop the controversial roundup of wild horses here in Nevada. With the next roundup scheduled, the advocates are claiming the BLM is violating the law.
All right, so the countdown has begun. We're now less than 48 hours away from Thanksgiving, and there's a live look out at the stratosphere. What about the weather for Thanksgiving? Is it going to be cooler? Are we going to be windy? We'll have your neighborhood forecast coming up a little bit later on, and weather. See you guys then.
A lot of high school students say their voices are often ignored when it comes to issues affecting this country. Well, today, hundreds of Clark County students got together with lawmakers and community leaders to give them their opinions. Reporter Janet O has the story of this year's Sun Youth Forum.
Should there be limits placed on how the press covers campaigns and elections?
We should educate ourselves on them, absolutely.
So you don't think that it would help us understand why they do the things that they do sometimes?
Students have a lot to say when it comes to issues like the economy, unemployment, and a lack of funding for education.
It is really scary just to be, to view the economy and job and my future.
Never has so much been at stake for this generation, and those like Samantha King admit she's worried.
It's going to be probably my generation and my kids' generation that's responsible for fixing it.
But if there is some solace, it's knowing they're not alone in these fears.
It's so great to be here, to listen to other people's opinions, to think, okay, well, maybe I'm not the only one concerned about this.
The 54th annual Las Vegas Sun Youth Forum gives students the chance to talk about everything, from issues on the home front to issues like terrorism. It's the intellectual breeding ground for future leaders. Congresswoman Shelley Berkeley knows this all too well.
The Sun Youth Forum was a life-changing experience for me.
She's now one of the moderators.
These kids are engaged, they know what they're talking about, they have opinions, and they're not afraid to express them.
Students say even with the many challenges ahead of them, they are optimistic about their future. And above all else, they're just glad to have their voices heard.
I think that a lot of times kids our age aren't listened to simply because people think, oh, well, they're just teenagers, what do they know?
But these teens are proving that's just not the case. Janet O, 8 News Now.
Also, 9 students chosen at random at today's forum walked away with $1,000 college scholarships.
Next, the latest chapter in the scandal that won't go away. Tonight, Senator Ensign is firing back. The I-Team looks at where the investigation goes from here.
Watching Channel 8 News Now at 6 with Gary Waddell and Paula Francis. The news for Southern Nevada is now.
I want to take you back now to that story we told you about a few minutes ago. Nevada leaders working together to stop mortgage fraud. Edward Lawrence looks at the push to protect residents.
Home after home after home put on notice by the banks, and families do anything they can to keep their part of the American dream.
This is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before.
John Kelleher heads the Attorney General's Mortgage Fraud Task Force. He sees many of those families turn to unlicensed, untrustworthy companies for help. So Nevada Attorney General Catherine Cortez Masto kicked off an educational campaign that includes a message for loan modification scammers.
We will find you and we will prosecute you.
Masto says the companies prey on homeowners before they come to the foreclosure point. There are 154 companies in southern Nevada alone that have complaints against them. That's somewhere around 31,000 victims.
Kelleher and his team are now spending 95% of their time on this problem.
There's more work than all of us can handle.
So the state turned to the federal government for help.
I don't think they're immoral. I think they have no morals. It's amoral. And they will switch names of their businesses.
Senator Harry Reid says new Federal Trade Commission guidelines are on the way in 60 days. Until then, Assistant U.S. Attorney General Tony West told Nevada his office will prosecute some of the cases.
What's important is not just the amount of fraud, it's deterring the bad behavior so that you can prevent fraud from happening in the first place.
Edward Lawrence, 8 News Now.
There are several big red flags you should look for if you're considering loan modification companies. First, upfront fees between $2,000 and $7,000. That's a no-no. Second, an advertisement guaranteeing success of loan modification. Third, red flag, the company tells you not to pay the mortgage, but to pay them instead. We have more tips on our website, LasVegasNow.com.
Senator John Ensign is firing back after his lover's husband went on national TV and again accused him of breaking ethics laws.
Some are now accusing Doug Hampton of being on a revenge mission to take down the senator. IT political reporter Jon Ralston is here. So is he out for revenge?
I don't think there's any question about that. I've said that Doug Hampton essentially wants two things. He wants money from John Ensign, Gary and Paula, and he wants John Ensign out of office. So how does he accomplish that? He goes on Nightline. He talks about a lot of different things, including whether or not John Ensign helped him get lobbying clients.
John Ensign was aware that he was helping and assisting you in breaking ethics rules.
John Ensign was perfectly aware that it was going down exactly how he wanted it.
It's almost exactly the same verbiage that Hampton used when he was on Face to Face. He's clearly out for revenge, but does that mean he's not telling the truth? Again, I say nothing that he has said has been contradicted by any evidence out there.
What about the issue of whether Ensign broke any ethics laws?
And then that is the question that Hampton is raising here. And in a couple instances, the question is, did John Ensign knowingly violate that cooling period? Did he set up meetings for Doug Hampton in Washington, D.C., knowing that Doug Hampton, when you leave Washington, it's a year cooling off period? Did he do that? Then he might be guilty of violating conspiracy laws. Also, he could be guilty of violating campaign disclosure laws, even feloniously, because of that severance pay. Doug Hampton said again on Nightline what he has said before, which is that John Ensign knew it was severance. It was not a gift from his parents.
Thank you, John.
One-word answer. Does Senator Ensign survive?
He may survive until 2012, but not beyond that. And I don't think he's going to make it to then.
That's close to one word. Thank you, John.
Sorry.
That's all right. Watch John's show Face to Face on our cable station Las Vegas 1, Cox Cable Channel 19.
An animal protection group and a Nevada ecologist have filed a lawsuit to stop a proposed wild horse roundup in northwestern Nevada. In defense of animals, an ecologist, Craig Downer, filed the suit in federal court. They're trying to stop a gather of more than 2,700 horses in the Calico Mountain complex. The lawsuit alleges that the Bureau of Land Management used faulty computer modeling to estimate the number of horses in the area, and that it violates the 1971 Wild Free-Roaming Horse and Burro Act by not considering other alternatives to a roundup. The gather is scheduled to start December 1st. A 44-year-old coal-fired power plant outside of Las Vegas is being called one of the dirtiest energy plants in the country. A new report, America's Biggest Polluters by Environment Nevada, found the Reed Gardner plant belched as much carbon dioxide into the air in 2007 as 800,000 cars. Bad, but not nearly as bad as some in Georgia, Alabama, and Indiana, where plants produced as much CO2 as 3.5 million cars. The group is hoping its report will convince Congress to enact the first ever federal limits on global warming pollution.
I'm checking now with Darren Miller We can see Thanksgiving from here, Darren.
Yes, we can't smell it yet, though, but we will be in the next couple of days. A big forecast, because obviously we have one of the biggest holidays of the year, and it's heading here on Thursday. And the weather will be quiet for the next 4 or 5 days until we get to the weekend, and then it begins to become active. So timing is everything, and it looks like we're good to go for Thanksgiving, a holiday with a high of 65 degrees and plenty of sunshine. All right, back here now, currently, the winds are beginning to die down. We're currently at 57 degrees out at the airport. Maathuis, you're in the upper 50s. Van Wagenen, you're in the mid 50s. I think once again by tomorrow morning, temperatures starting out in the lower 40s, which is where we should be. So you can see Boulder City, you're currently at 57. Pahrump, you're at 49. You can see out at the lake right now, currently at 55 degrees. Overton checking in at 53. So highs today, I mean, pretty typical this time of year. Highs should be in the lower 60s. You can see Maathuis topped out at 64. East Washington at 62, down towards Laughlin, the high today at 64. Pahrump, your high was 62 degrees. All right, 62 seems like a pretty popular number. That was the official high here in the valley today. And look at that, right where we should be. The overnight low was 41 degrees. That's right where we should be. There's a look at the record set back in 1949 of 81 degrees, and that record low back in 1938 was 15 degrees. So here we go with the weather headlines. A normal week for November, highs in the mid 60s. Thanksgiving looks to be absolutely perfect, and then once again as we get towards the weekend, we have another cold front that'll swing through that'll get us down into the upper 50s for highs on Sunday and Monday. Temperatures around the U.S. currently: Denver chilly at 30, Seattle still wet with a high of 50 degrees, currently 50 degrees. You can see Dallas at 54 as you head over towards Chicago, the same temperature there at 50. Atlanta in the lower 50s, once again down toward the south. You can see Miami in the upper 70s, and chilly in Boston at 48 degrees. Pretty quiet pretty much across the U.S. We have this one system here that's pushing through Chicago into Indiana. Quick little clipper system here producing some light snow up towards the Dakotas. And that's about it. The only wrench in the forecast is if you're heading down towards the Colorado River Valley tomorrow, because we're going to see wind gusts up to about 40 miles per hour at times. So there, we're not going to see a wind advisory, but it once again will be windy down towards the south. High pressure for us. We get ready for this system here to build in and get here over the weekend. But once again, until then, we're looking pretty good. We'll get down to 41 degrees tonight. It will be chilly. The forecast for tomorrow at 64. That's 2 degrees warmer than it should be. The forecast shows for the next 7 days looking pretty good. And once again, until we get to the weekend. So beautiful on Thursday, looking nice on Friday, a little bit cooler. Look at Sunday, Monday. Highs only in the upper 50s. All right, Gary, Paula, back to you guys.
All right, Chris Maathuis is here with sports.
Who do you like, Pacquiao or Mayweather?
Pacquiao.
Well, they might be fighting here pretty soon. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather on a collision course to meet this spring. Could be the Super Bowl of all fights. It kind of has that feel to it. Latest on what the two sides are saying about the mega matchup. Plus, the big cat spreading some holiday cheer this year. He's putting smiles on the faces of these children. What a better calling. More next on Channel 8.
From Channel 8 News Now, sports with Chris Maathuis.
All right, for the sake of boxing, the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world are willing to share their skills. Now it's just a matter of when and where. Remember when sports fans would stop dead in their tracks to catch a mega fight? Boxing has a chance to rekindle that once spreading wildfire, but it's going to take Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather to ignite the flame.
And the fact that I'm still under a gag order should sound like good news to people who want to see this fight happen.
This would be a fight that needs no promotion. It would sell itself. That's why everybody wants a piece of the action.
It could be, you know, like a week-long festival. Could be great for Vegas, but after all, New Orleans wants to fight, Dallas, the Cowboy Stadium, the two baseball stadiums, Yankee Stadium and Citi Field.
Wherever the fight ends up doesn't matter to those who work inside the ring. You see, fighters look beyond the promotion.
I think it should happen for the sport. I think they both would be cuckoo if they didn't take the fight. I mean, it's going to be one of the biggest money-making fights.
Absolutely. I think Mayweather needs to fight him. I believe Mayweather will be the one that will beat Pacquiao.
So when the best pound-for-pound fighter meets the other best pound-for-pound fighter, you'll have the best pound-for-pound fighter. And that's something only Las Vegas can sell.
Where would you want it?
Well, I live here. I like to sleep at home.
All right, couldn't agree with them more. Meanwhile, top-ranked announcement middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik, who fights in Ohio next month, has been training here, and so that's why they held a press conference today. Hey, when Leon Lett played for the Dallas Cowboys, he was known as the Big Cat. For these kids today, he's the big man with a big heart. Lett, who lives in Henderson now and volunteers coaching at UNLV, was giving out turkeys to 215 kids at Rainbow Dreams Academy.
Yeah, they're very excited. Those are some heavy turkeys too, so we got to make sure that families come to take them. The kids can't handle those.
All right, Lett helped the UNLV coaches this season. We know what that is, a Super Bowl ring. He says he'd like to get into coaching full time. Look how nice. He had a couple blunders when he played, but hey, he says, I got the ring.
Absolutely. That's a great thing. Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
We'll be right back.
Now, Nevada's first choice for news. This is Channel 8 News Now at 6.
Dave's here with a look ahead to 8 News Now at 11.
Hi, Paula, Gary. 5 men under arrest in connection with the murder of a Metro officer. Tonight, what's next for these young men, including what the district attorney told us about whether any of them will face the death penalty. Plus, home prices are down. More Nevadans owe more than their house is worth. Experts weigh in on what you can do if you are upside down. Those stories and all your late-breaking news tonight at 11. Back to you guys.
See you then.
Story. Big, huge problem here. Thanks for watching 8 News Now at 6 o'clock. Remember, you can always check all of this out on our website, LasVegasNow.com.
Have a good evening, and we'll see you at 11.